Morning, everyone. You've had time to take in the terrible defeat at the Stadium Light to Sunderland. A team just newly promoted, handing 7 debuts, 7 absolute debuts to their starting lineup today against I don't know, like rinse and repeat West Ham. That's the way it feels. That's why I've titled the show Rinse and Repeat, because it literally does feel like it's rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat West Ham. Like, you know, you want a result, who do you step up against? It's West Ham. That's the way it feels. I know there's this element of West Ham fans that think, like, when you look at the fixtures when they're announced, you always think, right, that's off to a good start or that's off to a bad start. And last few seasons we've had top 6 clubs consecutively for a couple of games in a row. Then you look at West Ham getting a relegated side, a promoted side, recently promoted side, and you think, oh, well, that's going to be easy. And maybe we respected the opposition too much, and I think that's what West Ham did do today. Because I said back in the video yesterday that you have a West Ham that played in the first half that looked quite well, quite cohesive, working togetherness, pinging the ball around, holding on to possession, but not really penetrating. But then West Ham just staying in second gear and not moving on in the gears, where Sunderland came out with the rocket up their arse and they really took the game to West Ham. They took the game to West Ham because you can see that by Dan Ballard's goal, you know, when he became such a nuisance at the corners and set pieces. But he decided to stay up for one of those opportunities, and bang, he gets the goal, and they get rewarded because they go and get a third goal, and they win 3-0 at home. 8-year absence from the top flight, get a result against West Ham, who've been in the Premier League now for several years. And like I said, they handed 7 new arrivals debuts in that game in their starting lineup. And you could really see that sense of togetherness in the second half from Sunderland. You really, really could. In actual fact, you could see the sense of togetherness in the full game from not just the players on the park, but even from the fans in the crowd. The stadium did sound electric. The stadium was electric, and to fair play, you've got to give them credit where credit is due, because that definitely helped them. 8-year absence, you know, if Sunderland can take games to clubs like they did to West Ham today, like, they're going to be quite comfortable. Not comfortable, but they'll survive. They'll stay in the Premier League. But we all know the Premier League can be a harsh place, and it's about grinding out results. And that's where really this one pisses me off more than ever, is the fact that you've not grinded out a result, got something on the first day of the season, because we've already hit the setback. And this again leads down to the fact that I've said all along that we never do our business early enough. We should be doing business way earlier than what we have, and I don't understand what it is. And you can't help but feel like it's the same old West Ham, rinse and repeat. It's the continuation from last season. It's the things we all thought we would be able to shake off, we'd all be able to remove. But what have we got? A team that are lacking cohesion, that are lacking togetherness. Because when you look at the social media posts, when you look at the vibe that you think that West Ham are a full together team, but then you look at us on the park, you don't really get that vibe, especially in the second half, because when things start to fall apart, you don't really see where West Ham are going to come back into the game. And that's the frustrating part. And this falls upon, this particular performance yesterday, falls on Graham Potter's head. It does. Absolutely has to take major responsibility for this, because you could see when West Ham are making the substitutions that we don't have strength and depth, and the depth we've got is either elderly or slow, but there's no va-va-voom, there's no excitement. And really it falls on Potter, because there's no other options. Where are the options, West Ham? What are we going to do, and how are we going to move forward? Where are the options off the bench? Callum Wilson is not good enough. He's not good enough. Will he bang us a couple of goals in this season that will get us a result? Quite possibly. Is it enough? No. Is it a way forward that we should be looking at? Absolutely not. It's absolutely not. And it's clear as mustard when you look at that result yesterday, and the squad, and Guido Rodriguez and James Ward-Prowse starting in that team. Like, they should not be starting in the team while other clubs are overtaking us and signing young, extravagant footballers I'm going to bring up McAtee from Man City, who's just signed for Nottingham Forest, 30 million quid. You know, West Ham will waste their money elsewhere, but not look at these talents, young, fruitful talents, where clubs take risks on and think, well, do you know what? They've got a bit of Premier League experience, you name it, and look what they get back in an abundance. It's just so frustrating as a West Ham fan. I'm trying my best. This is not about the board today. This is, you know, everyone know all my thoughts about the board, but Potter has to take the massive responsibility for not getting into that market, not bringing in strength and depth, and not giving West Ham a real option in moving forward. Were there things and positives I'd take from the first half? Absolutely. Were there anything from the second half? Absolutely not. You know, and to go in spineless into that second half is really frustrating. I look at the decision to include the keeper from the off. Is that the right decision? I was quite positive at the start of the game, but obviously it seemed like it maybe would have been the wrong decision. Defensively, the three players that I thought would have been strong at the back, they struggled to communicate together. Maybe that's going to take a bit of time, I don't know. But really at the end of the day, the midfield, we got overrun in the midfield because they had a lot of pace. And it's fine that we kick the ball sideways all the time. All the time, that's the problem. Kicking the ball sideways and backwards is okay sometimes, but not all the time, and that's all we did. And we never brought Paquetá into the game whatsoever. So what do we do moving forward? Shit, man. do you want me to tell you the next fixture? We need fresh blood. We all know that. We need some of excitement. We need some pace in the middle of that park. And we can't have another rinse and repeat performance. Let me know your thoughts. Put it in the comments. But I'm from a very pissed off Anton. Come on, your hands.